In this video, I will show you what you need to know to build your first Warhammer miniature, like this field ordnance battery for the Imperial Guard. Warhammer models come in a box like this, typically displaying the model more cinematically on the front, while on the back are usually alternate options or color choices. What's inside the box? The model comes supplied with the base. The base is meant for your model to sit on, as is displayed on the front of the box. If you intend to play using the models, use the bases supplied in the box. The instructions are detailed build guide of which parts go together and how, as well as multiple options for how to build your kit. Every part or bit has a number, so do not remove all the bits from the sprue before you open the instructions. Speaking of, the sprues. The sprues are frames of plastic on which all the parts or bits sit. They must be removed carefully as to not damage them. Do not press the bits out of the sprue, or you'll be left with chunks missing from your models. Starting off, open the instructions. The first step here is assembling the base of the gun, which is what we will do. These are parts 1, 2, and 3. We'll locate them on the sprue and then carefully remove them. This is part 1, the body of the base. To remove it, I use a pair of model cutters. When I cut the model from the connection on the sprue, I cut a little bit away from the part as to not damage it. You should be left with a little bit of gate here. If you have no model cutters, using a regular toolbox cutter works as well. Just be extra careful as these are not as sharp. You can also use a blade to cut them out, such as this X-Acto knife. This tool is great for slicing away the remaining gates of the part. On flat areas, cutting and then scraping works very well. If you don't own an X-Acto knife, a toolbox pair of cutters also works. Use the same technique, slicing away the gate and then scraping to make sure it's flattened out. We have removed the gates from the model, but mold lines remain. These are not very noticeable when the model is unpainted, but will stick out like a sore thumb once you paint on there. To remove them, scrape away with the hard edge of the back of your X-Acto blade. This is hard enough to remove the line without damaging the model. The edge of the blade may scrape away detail, especially on areas such as hair, fur, or cabling, which have small details. The box cutter is less sharp, but still be very careful when using it for mold lines. If you don't have either, or you're working with very large mold lines such as on older vehicles, an emery board is useful. This is a little nail file, but the finer grit side is perfect for very carefully sanding off the lines. Speaking of, you can even use fine grit sandpaper. Now, if you're younger and should not be using a knife for this, ask a parent or guardian to dull an X-Acto blade for you. The back end will still be perfect for removing mold lines as long as you remove the tip as well. The glue. Plastic models should ideally be built with plastic glue. Super glue works, but you will appreciate the plastic glue, or plastic cement as it's also called. Rather than forming a hard bond holding everything together like super glue does, plastic glue sort of welds the part together by slightly melting them where you apply it. Since it does melt the model, be careful not to apply it to the wrong area, as it could melt away some of the finer detail. Plastic glue does not harden immediately, and while it may be fiddly sometimes to get the piece to sit just right while it cures, It's a lot better than having to snap the bond of superglue and refitting your part. The next pieces are 4 and 5, which are the pedal and the hand crank on the front of the base. This is a good time to test fit a part. If you would have put the glue in first, this piece would have gone in upside down. Much better. Next up are the bits for the stabilizers, as well as the seat and the steering axle, which I will accidentally glue in the wrong way, as you can see in a little bit. There's also the front leg, here. Doing the same thing, we find them on the sprue by the numbers and cut them, clean them, fit them together. And there we are, one nearly correctly assembled base. I went back to fix this later, and since I used plastic glue, it was no problem at all removing the bit and refitting it. The base is also plastic, meaning we can use plastic glue to fit the model to the base. I'm not quite happy with the placement here, so I will pop that off again, apply some fresh plastic glue as it dries quickly, and apply the model. Now for the options for this model, there are options for the operator of the weapon itself, and the remaining crew. Select the weapon that you want from the options provided in the instructions. These are color-coded, so you can see which parts belong to which options. Find the pieces on the sprue and repeat the same steps. Some pieces have the "Do not glue" sign, as you see here. This means simply fit the bit without applying any glue. Be sure to do these in order, as some parts may be hard to fit together if you attach a later part first. The steps for building the crew are the same. Find the options you like, identify the bits on the sprue, clean the bits and fit them together in order as is shown in the instructions. Many times you get boxes of multiple parts like these heads. In these cases, any of the heads can be selected to fit this or any other infantry model supplied in this kit. I have chosen a crew member carrying a rocket and a sergeant giving the order to fire, as well as some of these decorative boxes of ammunition and a little rocket to sit on the side. And there we are, we have our loader, our operator, and our sergeant. The loader and sergeant are attached using some sticky putty or poster putty. You can find this at the bookstore or general store, and it makes it a lot easier to test fit how a part of a model sits or how a model sits on the base without having to glue it in place. As you can see, it's sticky enough to hold the model in place while tilting the base, even upside down. We will glue these down later, after we paint them. The last step that I usually do is attaching the model to a painting handle. In the case of such a big model, I'll use a basing paste jar, but for smaller models you can use a piece of wood, a piece of Duplo, or a medicine bottle. Anything small and light enough to hold in your hand, but which gives you a good handle on your model. I attached this using more sticky putty, but you can also use double-sided tape or anything else that will keep the model in place until you wish to remove it. And that's all there is to it. Good job building your first miniature. In the next video, I will go over priming your model using either a rattle can, an airbrush, or simply brushing it on. I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers!